The same process will be undertaken for both North American and European drivers. Top 3 from each region set to fight it out for overall championship honors. Mixing things up yet further, the grand final will feature a unique sporting format not seen before in the Ferrari Velas Esports series, with all competing drivers set to travel to Italy for a winner takes all on-site activation.
Yeah, Div 3, Brad Severs is going to get a good points haul. Carlos Guzman's going to close the gap a little bit.
Superb, thank you very much for that, Amanda. And now it's that time of the show where we have a look at the Ferrari 101 tips and tricks, where David Tinitza shows us all about traction control. And don't forget, you can head over to the Ferrari YouTube channel to catch the whole series of Ferrari 101 videos with our Ferrari Driver Academy stars. So let's hand over to David and find out all about the pros and cons of traction control.
Right now.
Hi everybody and welcome to the Ferrari 101 tips and tricks.
Oh, Mr. Lane Hall, Al Truitt. Let's go over and say hello. Everybody, thank you all so much.
Hi guys, I'm David Tinitza and welcome back. Today we will analyze the traction control.
80 minutes at Watkins delivered.
Traction control and managing the throttle is something personal, but it also depends on the conditions of the track. If you're smooth on the throttle, it's better to use a low TC, and in the quali, to make the best possible lap, it's essential to use the lowest TC setting possible so that you can push the car to the absolute limit. But if the track is lacking of grip, your tires are gone or it's raining, an higher TC value is the perfect solution to avoid oversteer and spinning. If you are a driver like me who smashes the throttle pedal, you're surely going to use an higher TC value. Instead, if you prefer to control the throttle by yourself, you're going to do the opposite. Meanwhile, if you just want to have fun, disabling it is mandatory. Assetto Corsa Competizione allows you to control, adjust and modify this parameter the way you prefer, with the possibility of controlling how much the car has to intervene. From the control panel, it's possible to change these settings. And meanwhile you're driving, it is also possible to switch them from the steering wheel so that you can change them in every possible situation, especially if the rain comes. Now, let's jump on the sim and test it. Let's set the traction control to maximum. So as you can see, both in the game and from the steering wheel, the car becomes very predictable. So it's very easy to drive, especially coming out from the corner. We can really smash the throttle and nothing will happen. So it's clear that the car will be slightly slower, so we will not have any risk, but of course the lap times will not be that fast. So it's not the ideal setting if we want to find a very fast lap. On the other hand, if we put the TC to the minimum value, the car will become very sketchy and oversteer coming out from the corners. So if we have a good control of the throttle pedal, that's fine. We can find some lap time, and of course during a qualifying we will be the fastest guys. But as you can see here, already a snap of oversteer, so you have to be very skilled and you have to prepare a lot during your training session to reach this control of the car. So now let's test the TC on the grass, because of course if you are going to smash the throttle pedal when you are in the grass, of course the car will have a very bad reaction. Also here in the gravel, because of course as you can see the rear tires have too much power. So if you put the TC with a higher value, of course you're not going to spin or anything. So let's say you will save the car, but you will be slower. Traction control can help you by controlling the car, but at the same time, if you exaggerate, it can also put you into the wall. So now it's your time to test it yourself and have some training with my tips. And as always, see you guys in the next episode.
Now it's time to have a little look at the circuits that will be featured in our broadcast tonight, from the Endurance Classics to brand new circuits in the Assetto Corsa Competizione. Let's take a look at what's in store. The Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya is a classic Grade 1 FIA track nestled deep in the heart of Spain, and one that offers an exciting and often dramatic technical challenge for our drivers. Made up of heavy braking zones and a slow grip limited turns, Barcelona is almost certain to produce exceptional racing from our Ferrari Velas Esports drivers. A brand new track to both the series and Assetto Corsa Competizione, Circuit of the Americas is something of an unknown for our drivers this evening. One of the more recent circuit builds of the world of international racing, COTA is an incredibly difficult prospect for our drivers to maximize performance this evening. Thanks to a healthy mix of incredible fast sections and interlinking corners and heavy braking zones, the perfect combination for guaranteed action. The Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, a classic racetrack and venue almost universally loved by fans and drivers alike. Comprising of the golden combination of fast and committed corners mixed with wild undulations, everything about Spa just screams drama and excitement. Having established itself in the world of virtual motorsports, our drivers will no doubt thoroughly understand the tricks of getting the most lap time from this circuit. So expect the racing here to be exceptionally close. The famous Indianapolis Motor Speedway is another new circuit to the Assetto Corsa Competizione platform, and with it, the Ferrari Velas Esports series. Having enjoyed a brief but dramatic history in Grand Prix racing before establishing itself as a regular featured in many varied endurance series championships, Indianapolis offers our drivers a little bit of every type of corner and situation over the course of the lap. From the flat-out blast on the oval banking down into turn 1. To multiple line options through several of the corners, Indy is a real racer circuit and should produce some exceptional racing action tonight. All right, I promise the time for talking is now done, and we're going to head into the highlight reel of our most recent North American racing adventures. Please give a warm welcome to our North American commentary team of DJ Clark and Jesse Lee. Gentlemen.
Welcome everyone to the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya here for race 5 of the North American qualifiers. DJ Clark joined here in the commentary booth by Jesse Lee. And Jesse, we are ready to send these Ferrari 488 Challenge Evos out onto the track here in Assetto Corsa. This is going to be a tricky run though around a circuit that is known to be a little bit difficult to overtake on.
Man, you want to talk about a lot of pressure, DJ. This is a lot of pressure. Our final 12 drivers going through to the regionals today. This race, particularly with 3 drivers. The Ferrari 488 Challenge Evo, always a lovely track, a track that I personally have a love-hate relationship with. Very fast, also technical as well. Should be a good race.
Yeah, should be indeed as we take a look at that track pan over there. Plenty of elevation change around here, but let's go ahead and bring you through those entry lists here today. Obviously, the 2 names that really stick out here, Matt Adams and Sulio Almeida, 2 of Canada's absolute top sim racers.
You said it there. I couldn't agree with you more. Those 2 look to them to do some battle today, maybe get some fenders out. There's a couple of opportunities to get that done as well. My other question is, who's the 3rd transfer? Can't wait to find out.
Neither can I. As we take a look here over the grid, you can see all of those 488 Challenge Evos getting ready on the grid, waiting for the lights to come on here in Barcelona as we get ready to go racing for race 5. As there we work our way through the final part of the grid right now. Ready to go as all eyes go now to those starting lights, and there they go. We start the race here in Barcelona. Good getaway there for the front row. Looks like Matt Adams is going to be able to hold on there. Sulio Almeida trying to challenge a little bit from behind as there they go diving down into the first corner. As here we've got a little bit of a battle. Sulio trying to be able to hold that line out, but now he's going to find himself under attack from Manuel Hernandez.
Hernandez trying to take that spot away. The best place to ever get a pass done is right near the beginning of the race. Absolutely hounding him now through turns 3 and 4. Brilliant stuff, but a clean getaway up front.
Clean getaway up front for Matt Adams. He looks like he is going to be removed from any pressure from the back of Sulio. Sulio leaves the door open a little bit there through Repsol as they now bring the cars down the run into Seat. Again, Hernandez just trying to look for that opportunity, and it looks a little bit like Swirlio's giving him a chance there at the apex, it has to be said, but Hernandez not able to get the move done.
Almeida almost made a big mistake right there, going a little bit wide, but fortunately there's no way to make a pass down the inside whenever you've kept it on the track. Cool and calm and collected maybe a little bit, but also maybe a little bit of mirror driving. Hernandez looming large.
Looming very, very large is there. We see in the back of the field here a little bit more Laszlo trying to be able to find his way forward a little bit. This is Laszlo Toth trying to have a little bit of a battle as they work their way up through Bank Sabadell. This long right-hander puts a lot of pressure on the outside tires.
Yeah, that was Austin Turner right in front of him as well. There's almost no place to go as they go down into the chicane, and what a brilliant choke point. You see the 14, the 28, they're all there fighting in the mid-pack.
Yes, they are absolutely nose to tail. Stick a piece of paper in between them as they run. We ride on board now as we get onto this long main straightaway. As you said earlier, Jesse, this is the place to make an overtake if you want to, but it doesn't quite look like he's close enough here.
No, it certainly doesn't. Maybe a little bit of action in the rear view camera, a little bit side-by-side action going down into one. But look at this. Oh, no, and it's gone wrong down into turn one.
Absolutely gone off there. That was Laszlo Toth and Anthony Pariso getting into one another. Some damage to those two Ferraris into turn one. It looked like there Laszlo just got the braking zone completely wrong.
Yeah, that's absolutely what happened right there. Just got it wrong, trying to make the best sort of maneuver you can down into one. It's tricky to get the braking zone correct, and it just hasn't worked. It hasn't worked here. Look at this. It's a big crash.
Big crash down to the inside. A little bit of a pinch there for the 28, and that is going to send Hitesh around, I think, unfortunately, as he is collected into the wall big time there. You can see the damage to the front end of that number 23.
Yeah, that will not help their hopes at all. The very clearly damaged race car, a couple of hopes absolutely dashed there in an instant in turn 3 and 4.
Yes, they are, as we now check back on the battle with the number 78 of Tullio Pavoni here and Austin Turner coming down into the corner, and more contact!
Oh my goodness, this racetrack certainly invites it. You're getting it all today. You can tell the drivers were under immense pressure to perform here, not giving an inch. No quarter given, none asked, but a lot of contact.
As we check back in right now on the number 12, this is Luis Puente trying to see what he is able to do. He's got a little bit of damage to the front end of that car, and that's really going to affect the handling around a circuit, Jesse, where it's very, very important to be absolutely millimeter perfect, especially while going over these curves.
Absolutely the case, and a damaged car, it never is a good thing, is it really? But just trying to hold on in that particular instance, trying to make a pass here around the outside. No, can't quite do it. You just got to drive as defensively as possible to try and pull it off. 32 looking to make a move, though.
Yeah, that's Austin Turner going up to the inside there of the number 28 of Laszlo Toth. Remember, Toth involved in a couple of those incidents, and easy as you please, it looks like there. Turner's going to try to get the move around the outside. Can he carry the momentum? Yes, he can.
Well, that was a bit academic, wasn't it, really, in the end? A damaged car, but you still have to make the pass, and you got to do it cleanly, though. My hat's off to him.
Hats off indeed, as he's going to be able to streak away up into the distance here. A good move done by the 32 of Austin Turner. He's going to have a little bit of clean sailing up in front of him. But meanwhile, up at the front of the field, as we said at the beginning, Matt Turner and Swirlio Almeida, Matt Adams rather, and Swirlio Almeida, the two to be able to take victory here.
It certainly was a fantastic race, ran by the two of them. You can't fault them for anything they did. Didn't put a single foot wrong. Speaking of Manuel Hernandez, you got to give hats off to them as well. They're going to come home in a very sweet third place. That'll be good enough for them to transfer.
Yes, it will. So here comes Hernandez flashing the lights there out of New Holland. A very, very happy camper, and that means that your top three qualifiers here will be Matt Adams, Manuel Hernandez, and Brian Sabaleski, it looks like. Now, as we bring ourselves here into a new track on the ACC simulator, Circuit of the Americas, this is just about as tough as you get, Jesse.
Well, it certainly is. Keep in mind, whenever they were qualifying for this race, this track was brand new, less than a week old into the sim. No pressure, though.
no pressure at all. And it's not like this is an incredibly difficult track or one that tries you at every single corner. We take a look there at the infield section, and obviously changing up the cars here, running the Ferrari 488 GT3 Evo, as this in any kind of machinery is the ultimate test for a driver. We take a look though at the entry list, and I've got to say the car to watch out for, the number 4, Lugobi.
Not going to get any argument for me. She is going to be an absolute rocket ship. What is it with these fast Canadian drivers today? But everybody is going to have to battle the tracks. 20 turns, 10 to the left, 10 to the right. It's going to be an action-packed race. And what about that back straight? A lot of overtaking opportunity in the slipstream.
A lot of overtaking opportunity, and let's not forget about the possibility for a switchback there coming down through turn 12, really all the way down into 15. The way the track just sort of folds in on itself really and truly allows for constant battles through there. That is going to be an area to watch for. The other area to watch for is drivers getting it a little bit wrong coming up through the S's, that sweeper section, the slowly decreasing radius that exists from turn 3 all the way up to turn 9.
Certainly is the case. Also, you think about turn 1, it's so very difficult because it's almost a blind corner. It's 5+ stories up to that corner as well. It's almost like a land rush start on dirt, but of course, very fast cars, very good brakes, and excellent aerodynamics as well. You could see them 3, 4, maybe even 5 wide going up into turn 1, all chasing the top 3 spots.
Yes, indeed, and we'll have to keep an eye there. That can also be a little bit of a flashpoint for some contact as they work their way through that first corner, but the uphill braking zone does allow you to be a little bit later on the binders, using the weight of the car to slow you down as well. So a very, very interesting way to try to get a move done. But as we work our way through the back of the grid here, through Gutierrez and Sharif, we get ready to keep our eyes focused on those lights to give us the indication to get ready to go racing here at the Circuit of the Americas. This is one that I'm particularly excited for, and just as quick as you please, cars are off.
Well, that was a fantastic sort of flyover, if you will. I absolutely enjoyed that, seeing Ferraris racing around here at all. And, well, here we go with the start, DJ. Nervous drivers, how many wide do you think we're going to get?
Well, we're about to find out as they cross over the start-finish line, and the lights turn to green. Here comes the race. There's already 3 wide there in the back. A little bit of ping-pong being played among the drivers, but up front, Lugobi looks like she's been able to hold on to a good lead there, trying to sort themselves around. Looks like we only got 3 wide through the back of the field, but a couple of cars running very wide.
One of the cars, one such car, got absolutely 3 wide, was on it on the start, got the best start of all of them, but really just didn't have anywhere to go. Look at Albert here, fighting into the mid-pack, was one of them. Oh, and that somebody is off into the background there, spun around in the S's.
Spun around in the S's, that tricky flashpoint on a little bit of colder tires. We ride on board right now with Trangresi right now, trying to see if he's able to get anything going through here. Albert in the number 15, working his way forward through that tricky turn 9, that sequence of decreasing radius corners, as now we get our way, climbing up the hill once more into turn 11. This long back straightaway. How many passes are we going to see here?
You're probably going to see a couple. Missing the corner was Rocco up in front. That's going to let Vandenberg get a run around the outside. You don't normally see that. Normally you defend that on the exit of the corner. Couldn't do it. And here's Michael Vandenberg.
Vandenberg looking very, very strong here. Going to try to carry that momentum around the outside. But remember, if he's able to hold this around coming through turn 12, it will favor him back through turn 13. But earlier onto the binders, and a big send down to the inside. Contact, 3 cars.
That's another one of those congestion areas of the racetrack, isn't it? The hard left-hander at the end of one of the longest straights in racing. And oh my goodness, it's all come unraveled for Vandenberg in a single corner.
It certainly has found himself all the way down in 12th position, as that is Orlando Lara around as well. The Mexican driver having a little bit of a problem there. It looks like coming down through the sweepers. That is out of turn 1.
It certainly is, and, well, a lot of these corners can be problematic if you get it a little bit wrong. Don't know what happened to Lara there, but never mind. They have ended up near the back of the field. Pascal here in a train, trying to drive away a little bit from the 2 cars right behind them. Of course, both of those drivers already having issues thus far.
Yeah, issues, probably a little bit of damage to these Ferraris there, unfortunately, as that's going to be Vandenberg taking a little bit of a half-hearted look down to the inside. Is that going to become a little bit more of a look down into the braking zone, as you can see out the back? That was lucky. That wasn't contact again.
That was what you call a defensive move down into the braking zone, went all the way over to the left just to make sure there's no real estate left to make that pass. And to his credit, didn't get a pass made.
No, did not, but we've got a little bit of a battle starting to shape itself up here for the front of the field. Alu Gobi having to hold off some of the advances here of Ricardo Rivera as they come down through turn 11 right now. A little bit of lap traffic up in front there. They're going to have to watch out for that. Alu already starting to go defensive here down this long back straightaway. Some more battles in the middle of the field. This is Jabriel Sharif trying to hold off the advances of Gutierrez.
Sharif and Gutierrez, keep in mind, Sharif started dead last or near the back of the pack here and has made their way all the way up into the middle of the field. That's an excellent job, but now sees Gutierrez taking a look down into the turn here.
And that's exactly what I was talking about there, with that ability to get later onto the binders, using the weight of the car to slow you down. But look at that rear attack there from Sharif, able to get the momentum around the outside.
That was absolutely epic stuff right there. That's hero-style driving, and that's exactly what's required here.
Yes, it is. Sharif able to keep that car up ahead. Jabriel doing a fantastic job, and this has allowed for Vandenberg to get back involved in the conversation. And here comes Michael. That car not to be denied here today, sweeping around the outside of the double apex right-hander.
Don't know how much damage he has, but it really doesn't seem to matter. He's marching back up to where he was to begin with. Point of pride here in the middle part of the race.
Certainly is, as we watch Albert here try to work his way forward on Pego, trying to see if there's anything to be done as they work their way down the long back straightaway. Pego immediately going defensive, trying to hold off any of that attack from the number 36. This is going to have to be a late dive onto the brakes if they want to get a move done. Let's see if it's going to happen. Goes to the outside, a little bit unorthodox there, tries to go for the crossover, but that's not going to play out.
You know what? I actually really like that move. I think Albert's onto something. If he gets that opportunity again, he might play him a little bit tighter to Pego, and he might have a shot to make that work. I think the only reason that wasn't closer was because that Albert did not want to pressure them into the left-hander. Had they done that, though, that might have been a move, but there might be a move right here. Albert deep down to the inside. It's going to be a drag race down the front straight.
Yes, it is, as they start to climb their way up the hill towards turn 1. Albert looking like he's losing out a little bit there. Going to try to pick up a little bit of the draft before they dive onto the binders. Going up into turn 1, down to the inside there for the number 36. Are they going to be able to hold that out, or is Pego going to be able to get that run through the outside that we've seen play out a couple of times before? The 36 sweeping around the outside, going a little bit wide, coming back out onto the track, and that's going to be position gained.
Folks, that started 5 turns before it was finished. That's the brilliance of Circuit of the Americas. But look at this, not done yet. Pego, a little bit of contact there, exiting the S's.
Oh, bumping and banging there as they went, and that car doesn't exactly look healthy for Martin Alfonso Pego. That car looking like it's crabbing a little bit. I think that may be day done and dusted for the number 45.
Rather unfortunately puts it into what was otherwise a brilliant battle, you'd have to say, DJ.
Yeah, most certainly a good battle there, and another good battle up at the front of the field right now. Alu Gobi still holding off the American driver of Ricardo Rivera, the number 11, looking very, very threatening, but we haven't really seen an attack here. It looks like Alu has just got that micro edge over Riviera.
Yeah, I think Gobi right here is thinking what we're all thinking. All you got to do is hold a little bit of a lead. It is difficult to pull off a very clean pass. We've seen several today, thankfully, but I will say Gobi, all they have to do is hold a very nice wheel here. And, well, if Rivera gets close enough, maybe throw on a little bit of fancy defensive move. We've seen that a couple times today, too.
Yeah, we certainly have a little bit of a defensive move coming down the back stretch or even into some of the other corners. Here is Martin Alfonso Pego looking for a little bit more problems there for the car, unfortunately, as that is O'Connor in the 61 able to get by him.
Yeah, it's gone from bad to worse, I'm afraid, for the 45. It's all about, well, point of pride. Like I said earlier, you got to pick yourself up and get some spots back, and that's what Pego's looking to do here on O'Connor as they look just about even on pace, even with a little bit of damage. Meanwhile, up front, the battle still continuing between Gobi and Rivera. This is absolutely brilliant stuff. 10 minutes left to play. You can't make your move too early if you're Rivera, I think.
No, you're very, very right about that. You don't want to give Alou the chance to be able to fight back. We know how quick she is. We know how aggressive she can be when she's on the attack. And right here, I think if you are Ricardo Rivera, you need to just wait and pick your opportunity. Maybe a late dive going down into turn 12 on the final lap even.
Yeah, something like that. You said that at the very beginning when we were sitting on the grid. You can get the crossover move done, and you don't want to make that move too early. I think that's exactly what's going on there. Rivera just needs to not run the tires off the car. Look at this. Very tight stuff coming out of the S's. Alfonso Pego trying to make that move on O'Connor. Almost stuck their nose in there, thought better of it. I think they got in trouble earlier in that very same corner. A wiser driver this time through, though. Gets a really good exit out of the left-hander at the top of the hill, but can't quite make it stick.
Door shut there through turn 10, and I've got to give credit here to Martin Alfonso Pego, as that car has some pretty hefty damage on it, involved in quite a few incidents, but still to be fighting, to be scrapping here at this point in the race really shows not only the grit and determination of the driver, but the ability behind the wheel.
Absolutely the case. Pego obviously has a quicker car than their position would seem to indicate, and they're looking to pick up some of the positions that were lost into one. A little bit of a touch, maybe force them just ever so wide. Trying to go around the outside. We saw this work a little bit ago. It will be no contest. A little bit of contact at the top of the hill there for one.
Yeah, a little bit of bumping and banging there between Pego and O'Connor. That's not probably going to help anything around there, and no love lost between these two drivers. But they are going to work their way here through the back half of the S's as they go. And it does look like Pego is able to build a gap of, let's call it a car length or two, coming down there through the braking zone into 8 and 9. Is that going to be a little bit of a run here for O'Connor as they go? No, it looks like Pego's able to get the jump out of 9 and 10.
Finally getting free for the moment. Looking down to the inside, though, is O'Connor not willing to give up this fight. I wonder what the damage on Pego, will that give O'Connor a little bit of a head start down the straight? Doesn't look like it is. Isn't even in the slipstream here, Pego. Going way wide to keep him out of the slipstream for the first part of the corner, or the straight, I should say. But yeah, no contest there.
Yeah, a little bit surprising that we didn't see Pego or O'Connor rather just jump into that slipstream. That is what I would expect to do, but a big run wide there on the exit of 12 for Pego. But meanwhile, up at the front of the field, since the drop of the green flag, it has been the driver of the number 4, Alou Gobi, absolutely dominant up here, withstanding the pressure from Ricardo Rivera.
Well, you say dominant, I'm going to say just an excellent drive, as perfect as it had to be. And trust me, with Rivera right behind her, had to be perfect. Alou Gobi has just done such a good job, has actually widened that gap. It's about a second more than the last time we checked in, but even still, it's only 1.5 seconds, partner.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's an impressive drive to be able to withstand that kind of close pressure, and I'm very, very pleased to be able to call a race like this for Alou. We've seen her be able to put some good performances down before, and once again, coming to play here, bringing it down through the penultimate corner, and once again through turn 20, coming up behind some lap traffic. This is going to be a victory for Alou Gobi.
Absolutely brilliant drive. It needed to be at a track like this on short notice with not a lot of data to go on. Excellent job by Rivera as well. Didn't put a foot wrong. A brilliant run. And what about Erie Riley, DJ? Just a nice third place finish all by themselves. Quiet, calm, and composed.
Very calm and composed, and sometimes that's exactly what you need to be able to do. Erie Riley just putting in the position to be able to get that qualification into the finals. As we bring ourselves here, this is the ones who have qualified here for the next round. Alou Gobi, Ricardo Rivera, and Erie Riley. Those 3 drivers advancing on. As now we get ourselves ready for one of the greatest tracks in all of motor racing. Jesse, we find ourselves here at Spa-Francorchamps.
We sure do. Assetto Corsa and still in the Ferrari 488 GT3 Evo, a brilliant car. Historic racetrack as well. A couple of things to note. You got to pay attention to some of these curbs. Some of them you can take, some of them you're told to stay away from. You're going to see some tight action down the Kimmel Straight. Everywhere around here is a passing zone, I think.
Yeah, indeed, you were right. We've even seen some very, very aggressive passes going down into Pouhon and plenty of those corners where you wouldn't normally expect it. This is going to be a very, very difficult circuit, though. As you were saying, not exactly the standard format. And there you can see the list to be able to keep an eye on. Some of my eyes are being drawn here to Brandon Hawken, Jonathan Heinemeier as they go.
Pierre-Olivier Cloutier is going to be one of the drivers for me. I wonder what they can maybe do. And, well, I guess we're about to see. It's always an interesting start here with turn one and then the run up the hill. DJ, I'm nervous for him.
I am as well, but 5 lights are on, and there goes the green. We get racing here in Spa. Good getaway there from Brandon Hawken. Looks like he is going to be able to control this start relatively well. Sliding in behind is that trailing car of Cloutier as they work their way down through La Source and up through the world-famous run of Eau Rouge and into Radeon. Jesse, it doesn't get much better than this.
No, it really doesn't. Everybody's single file in an excellent battle here. Cloutier knows exactly what they have to do if they want to win this race over Hawken, but really, do they even have to really do that? Top 3 are going to transfer, and it's all about not making a mistake. I said that most of the time here, you're battling the racetrack. A good engineer will always tell you, race the racetrack, not the other competitors. That is never more true than here at Spa-Francorchamps and of Brandon Hawken. They have all the pressure in the world leading this thing.
Yes, they do, as we've got a little bit of a battle here in the back between Hames and Jonathan as they go. This is for that final transfer position, working their way down the hill right now into Rivage, trying to see if there's going to be anything to be gained here for the number 15. Looks like they're about 2-3 car lengths back. It grows a little bit more as they work their way through No Name.
I can't stress this enough. Heinemeier knows exactly what they have to do to transfer, and that's past that blue and white Ferrari right in front of them. It's so close, it's so tangible, yet so far away. You have to get every corner perfect. You have to be millimeter perfect around here regardless, and just seeing them drive away ever so slightly, but still within a second.
Yeah, and that can be a little bit disheartening to see that car start to stretch its legs a little bit, but with such a long lap here around Spa, there's going to be plenty of areas. That's not what you want to do, though. Jonathan catching a little bit of the gravel and going off into the grass.
So much pressure put on Heinemeier to get up to that third place car, make that pass, and it just hadn't happened at that point. But even still, an accident for them was not the only big accident there. You see them now in the third transfer spot.
Yes, indeed, and therefore Heinemeier, that is why you continue driving here. But up at the front of the field, Brandon Hawken, and a dominant race. 27 seconds gap over Cloutier. He's going to cross over the start-finish line and take the checkered flag.
What an excellent race by Hawken. It needed to be just about perfect to get out in front early, and certainly has done. Cloutier, just an excellent job as well. Didn't panic, saw Hawken drive away from him a little bit. Calm, cool, and collected. No problem whatsoever.
Yes, indeed, as now we get ready here for the final race of the evening from the racing capital of the world, Indianapolis. Jesse, a new track here on the simulation, just like COTA. This is my home track. There's a lot of fond memories here for drivers and fans alike.
Absolutely. Welcome home, DJ. Put your feet up a little bit, relax a little bit. It is just a fantastic racing circuit. It is the same exact story as COTA earlier, of course, brand new. Less than a week, these drivers were qualifying after the release of this track. What a brilliant facility, an excellent racetrack. And again, the narrative is the same. A lot of opportunity to make good passes.
Yes, there are plenty of chances, and as you can see, running here on ACC, but as we look over that starting list, I think the number 32, certainly one to keep an eye out for. Maldonado, also Yi, Talitz there as well. Plenty of good drivers in this field. We're gonna have to keep an eye, though, who's able to move up and move down.
Certainly the case. A lot of opportunity to make mistakes. A brand new track that almost nobody in this field will be intimately familiar with, really. And a lot of the qualifying laps were recon at the very beginning, surely, but it's all over now. It's all about the race. Top 3 will go on to complete our top 24 regional finalists for North America. All the pressure in the world on these drivers right now.
Yes, there is all of that pressure, and around this Indianapolis circuit, we are going to have to see who is going to be able to cope with the very, very high speeds here. Obviously not running on any of the banking around the famed Brickyard, but you will be crossing over the Yard of Bricks nonetheless as we work our way back down through the grid. What are your keys to getting a good lap around here, Jesse?
You just got to hit your braking points more than anything. And there's a couple of sections on this racetrack that if you hit them correctly, or if you have your steering input correct, you can almost straight line some of the more finer points of the racetrack. And you can get really good runs. And if you mess it up a little bit, you lose tenths, and I'm not talking fractions, I'm talking whole tenths around this place. It's easy to lose time. Stay ahead of your steering, make sure you're braking enough for the corners. All of that's relevant, especially in this turn in particular.
Yeah, coming down there through that final chicane that was added a number of years ago to avoid that turn 1 on the Indy Oval circuit as they now come down through. Looks like Maldonado will be bringing us to the green as they enter on and bring their way looking towards the fabled Yard of Bricks. Slowing down the field just a little bit. There you can see Talitz jockeying a little bit in position with the number 32, bringing that car onto the start-finish straightaway next to the pagoda as all eyes turn to the flagman here, waiting for the green flag to fly at Indianapolis, and we wait for the final round to go, and there goes the green. A good getaway there from Maldonado, immediately going to move over and cut off any attack there from Talitz as they go down to the corner, looking like it's going to be 3 wide into the braking zone.
Maldonado trying to go around the outside here. That was an excellent start. That was something else I was going to mention. You can get an excellent start from the outside pole position here, and that's exactly what's happened as they're still 2 by 2 for the lead. They finally just about sort it out before they get to the third turn.
Yeah, just barely able to get it together here as they work their way onto Holman Boulevard, taking a good bout of the curving there, taking it all the way to the outside. We ride on board with Richard Hooper here as we break down into the left-hander here. A potential good overtaking opportunity before the flick right and left. Relatively medium speed corners here before working your way back out onto the oval. Maldonado trying to get by Talitz, losing that position off of the start.
I just realized something. The outside of both the front 2 rows actually won their battles. Tellez out in front, and so is Hooper in front of Trupiano. So both of those drivers were able to convert that outside position into the lead, as so often is the case around here. Excellent heads-up driving.
Yeah, very, very good. We continue to watch here. Maldonado taking a little bit of a wider line there through the final corner, trying to maximize that momentum and get a good helping of the slipstream behind the number 11 here as they work their way onto the start-finish line once more to complete lap 1. Everyone in single file order this time around.
Remember earlier when I mentioned that a tiny little bit of a mistake, a bobble, missing the apex ever so slightly, missing your braking point, is worth tenths of a second? This is what I'm talking about, because you race so closely here. It is imperative that you don't make those little tiny mistakes. None of these drivers doing that here. Absolutely nailing every apex. Almost looks like they're synchronized. Richard Hooper's off, though.
Oh, and that looks like it's going to be a little bit of a one run wide there, unfortunately, and that is going to demote Hooper, who was up in the top 4, all the way down in the order, back down to 6th place, out of those transfer positions.
That brings Trupiano back up into P3, into the transfer position. They started there, of course, lost it on the initial start, but they'll get that spot back, and now all the pressure on the world on Southsea to try and close in that gap. Oh, close racing here, nearly running out of racing room.
Yes, indeed, as we focus back in on Richard Hooper in that number 15, trying to put a little bit of pressure to the back of the number 14 right now as they work their way onto Holman Boulevard. It's got to be said here that that's a pretty big gap to try to make up this far late into the race, but still 17 minutes to go. Hooper can do it. We know he's got the speed here from qualifying.
Certainly does have the speed. He's got to get by Burhout first, and he's got to figure out how to do that. This is one of those sections I was talking about. If you get it absolutely right, you don't actually have to brake a second time. Looked like a little bit of a braking maneuver by Hooper, who's continuing to try and chase down the 5th place car. You got to get inside the top 5 before you can make it inside the top 3.
Yes, you do. As there you can see the remnants of a driver having a little bit of a problem there going down into the final chicane section. As now we cross over, Hooper looking very, very threatening behind Burhout as they now go down. Hooper trying to recreate that first lap heroics going around the outside into turn 1. It'll immediately favor him back if he's able to keep on the crossover, and that looks like exactly what he's able to do, or at least trying to. Tries to feed Burhout out a little bit to the outside, tries to sweep around now through the right-hander, and that is position gain for Richard Hooper.
Can I just say, these Ferrari 488 challenge cars are just absolutely brilliant. They scream down the straight. They absolutely look brilliant, and they put on some fantastic racing, though one of the cars going off there ever so slightly. Hooper nearly had the move done, but no, Burhout came all the way back and took back the top 5, further dashing Hooper's hopes.
Yeah, and this battle's going to continue on here for a little bit more on Holman Boulevard. The little bit of a helping of the draft before they work their way into the left-hander out the end of this back straight. Looks like Hooper's not going to go for the move there, just trying to optimize. I've got to think here that Hooper is thinking about trying to get that pass done down into the first corner, but maybe trying to put a little bit of pressure here to the back of Burhout and see if he can force an error.
That's certainly what's going on here. Hooper now getting increasingly desperate here to make this move. The pay window is open, and it's closing really quickly. Hooper has to get back in the top 5 to have a shot to get back inside the top 3. All of the pressure on this one driver, knowing that they have the speed to go forward, but they've got to make this pass. They've got to make it definitively, and of course, cleanly as well.
Yeah, that is one of the big keys here as we now follow, working our way onto the front straightaway. Call it about 3 car lengths in between Hooper and Burhout with under 10 minutes to go. Time starting to run out here for the number 15 if he wants to be able to make that move. The Canadian driver thinking about holding to the outside. Looks like it's not going to be anything doing there as they dive into 1.
I like what Dominic did there on that particular lap. Didn't give him the outside, but runs a little bit wide into 1 around the outside. Hooper trying to make the pass. Unfortunately, no lane there to get it done. No, there is a lane. I'm wrong. Look at that. Incredible stuff. And Burhout has ran completely off the racetrack. Richard Hooper has got the position finally after mounting immense pressure on Dominic Burhout. Excellent job there.
If at first you do not succeed, just keep attacking. That is the mentality here for Richard Hooper, and a brilliant job to be able to recognize a little bit of an error from his competitor there of Burhout, and that is going to be Hooper firmly up into 5th place.
I was shocked there. I thought Dominic had that and realized that Dominic had went wide, and Hooper just drove down to the inside apex like you normally would. Easy peasy, excellent job. Hooper now has everything in front of him. Can he make up 10 plus seconds in 8 minutes? It's a tall, tall ask, but even still, you got to keep hope alive.
Yeah, you've got to keep hope alive if you are Richard Hooper, and being able to get that pass is going to help him out. Looks like we've got a driver off there in the back, but we focus in on, that's Zachary Cotton getting it all kinds of wrong there through the infield.
Certainly can do that. Hook a curb or maybe run a little bit wide. The grass is not conducive to traction, DJ, as they say. I feel like that might be something that happened there.
Yeah, I think that was right, coming through that long, sweeping right-hander, maybe enough to tell him off, but we've got to focus here on a little bit of a battle between Telez and Andy Trupiano as they go. This is the battle for 2nd place, only 0.7 of a second separating the 11 from the number 12.
Oh, decisions, DJ Clark, what do you do? Do you pass Telez? Do you tell Trupiano? I mean, they're all by themselves out here, but what do you do? Do you tell yourself to not pass this guy knowing that you're going to be in a transfer spot? Do you battle knowing that you have a 6.5 second lead back to the 17 in P4? Do you risk it? Name of the game, DJ, what would you do?
Well, I would try to attack, but there is a reason why I'm not driving in these cars, and I think here for Trupiano that he is going to be relatively content to stay behind. But Jordi Maldonado up at the front of the field, 13-second gap here for the 32. This has been a picture-perfect race for him.
Certainly has. Didn't panic when he lost the lead off the start, did he? Absolutely drove to a fantastic degree, and looks like they're on their way to winning this race and, of course, advancing to the regionals. What an excellent drive. I love seeing a driver that's calm, cool, and collected under pressure. Maldonado fits that bill perfectly.
Certainly does, as they bring their way here through the final couple of corners as the clock hits 0, bringing it back through the final corner, this final right-hander that leads you on to the main straightaway here at the Brickyard. Ringing the neck of that car and bringing it across the line to take victory is Jordi Maldonado.
Absolutely deserved. Tellez deserves as well second place. Trupiano, they're still fighting over that position. Here's the end of that battle. Tellez is going to finish in front. Trupiano will take third. Of course, both of those cars transferring in to the regionals. Excellent job. And Annalise Wright has had a issue here on the final lap, DJ.
Yeah, not entirely sure what's going on there behind the wheel of that number 31. It almost looks like it's out of fuel potentially coming around here, but not entirely sure.
Out of fuel, maybe some issue with the pedal box in the sim rig, maybe a little bit. That looks indicative to me that there has been some sort of failure in Riot's camp. Rather unfortunately, that will move them well down the order as that car has grinded to a halt. You see the other cars coming through. What a brilliant race that was.
Certainly was. And Jordi Maldonado, Uziel Tellez, and Andy Trupiano making it on to the next round. And with that, back to the studio with Amanda.
As always, Jesse, DJ, phenomenal job. And guys, what an incredible bout of racing we had there.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. And Dino, our drivers, it's so much pressure, isn't it, in these kind of competitions? We saw some great performances. And are you impressed with how they retain their composure?
You know, I mean, it's not a big difference racing in real life and on the simulator. It's pretty much the same pressure, you know. It's always that you want to win and you want to do the best, and obviously you don't want to disappoint yourself. So, I mean, when I'm racing in esports as well, I'm really, really nervous, almost more than on track. So, yeah, I mean, to contain that pressure, I mean, they don't have a lot of experience like us real-life drivers, but yeah.
Yeah, and it's great, isn't it, Amanda, that we've got some North American drivers that are taking part in a competition of this level for the first time, and some very dominant performances at the front of the field too.
Oh, I would imagine that racing at COTA and IMS here this evening also provided some sort of like hometown advantage, maybe a little bit. Any advice you would give our future drivers?
No, I mean, obviously just keep driving. I think the drivers that didn't make it through, just keep driving, and a lot of you need to race a lot, not only by yourself, and yeah, just gather the experience for next time.
And it's been superb again, so congratulations to all the drivers. Do you think our North American stars have got what it takes when we come together in the finals against the Europeans? Is that quite an exciting prospect?
Well, obviously it's really exciting, so yeah, I think we will have to see.
Bold question, I like it.
So I suppose, Amanda, we need to have a look at who's qualified in the North American series. So let's have a look at the qualified drivers at this next stage of the competition. Race 5 at Barcelona, Matt Adams took the victory ahead of Manuel Hernandez and Brian Sabelski in third position. They've secured their place in the next round of the competition. Heading over to home ground at the Circuit of the Americas, it was Alugobe that took race victory from Ricardo Rivera and Eri Riley in third position. Spa-Francorchamps, an endurance classic, and Brendan Hawkin from Canada was the man who took race victory ahead of Pierre-Olivier Cloutier in second place and Jonathan Heinmeyer in position 3. And the final race of the day, the final 3 qualifiers, are Jordi Maldonado at Indianapolis, Uziel Tellez in second place, and Andy Trupiano in third position, and they are our qualified drivers for the next round, the Ferrari Velas Esports Series North America.
Well, congratulations to our qualified drivers, but we're not done with winners here tonight, Paul. What else is left to happen?
Indeed, we've got some wonderful prizes to give away: a Team Scuderia Ferrari 2022 replica hoodie, t-shirt and cap for one lucky winner, Amanda, who is...
It's not me.
Oh, sorry.
And the winner is... Joseph Rinaldi. Congratulations on taking home some of that awesome Ferrari gear. I absolutely love seeing this viewing community be able to have some of this wonderful stuff that I want to keep to myself here in Ferrari. But now that we have this time to announce some of the exciting stuff coming up, the next one is the big one, the regional finals on September 14th. You're going to want to tune in to make sure to see where we are in this campaign, where we're going to start separating the very best from the best. To get a little bit more of this regional format, take a look. The Ferrari Velas Esports Series Regional Finals will be held across a brand new format. 2 races will take place on both simulations with 2 different tracks and cars. In North America, the first race will be on the Assetto Corsa at Laguna Seca with the Ferrari 488 GT3 Evo. The second race will be held on the Assetto Corsa Competizione platform at Watkins Glen with the Ferrari 488 Challenge Evo. The drivers will earn points for each race, and only the top 3 will proceed to the grand final in Italy. Well, that's it here for another race in the Ferrari Velas Esports Series. Just a reminder to make sure to follow us on all our social channels, including the official website, FerrariEsportsSeries.gg. I'm Amanda Busick. It's been an incredible night sharing this with you all. For Paul, for Dino, for all of us here in the Ferrari Velas Esports headquarters, we'll see you in a couple weeks.